Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. In this video, I'll be taking you guys through how to do the cut and polish work on this 1974 Jensen Healey. So I'll start off by giving you guys a quick look at the engine here. From best I can tell, it's a Lotus engine, twin overhead cam there. I did a bit of research online, I'm pretty sure it's Lotus. Any experts out there on these Jensens, be sure to share your knowledge with us by putting a comment down below for us. So this is actually the second part in a two-part series of how to do this spot repair. I started off in the first video how to do the paintwork and the primer work and repairing, and this one's just going to be focusing mainly on the polishing. The video speed for this is 1.5 times normal speed, and all I've really done is included a intro and an ending. The rest of it is basically unedited. It's just exactly what I do you see. Now I've set everything up for myself. I've got the polishers, the buff, the sanders and the tape and everything like that, so I've always got my materials ready for myself. And what I'm using here is a little tungsten block. It's made out of tungsten, which is the toughest metal known to mankind, and yeah, it will shave down. It's honed down to a it's actually not even sharp. You will never be able to cut yourself on it, but it's a very hard edge, and you can just shave those little bits of dust down. Very careful if you're using these blocks inside curved edges and stuff like that, and you can never use it the same day that you've painted something in 2-pack paint. Always leave it at least until the next day, maybe 2 days sometimes if you're not sure, if you live in extremely cold environments and the paint takes a long time to dry. So this one, there was actually quite a few bits of dust in it for some reason. I did my best to sand it down and wipe it down and clean it and tack it off and blow it down and everything, but it still ended up with a few bits of dust. Those who have seen the first video may remember that I actually got a bit of a fry up because this was done in acrylic originally, so in doing that I sanded it back and probably created a bit of dust in the spray booth, so that's probably a big part of the reason I got those extra couple of bits of dust than usual. But not to worry, it's not going to take me too long to fix. So by shaving it down with the tungsten block, I've mainly removed any of the high spot to the bit of dust that's there, and then I'm using this Rupes Bigfoot orbital sander, and I had some Kovacs Bufflex green pads. They are. They don't actually give you a actual reading on the grit of the, see, have a quick look here. It doesn't actually say the grit next to it. They're just the green. Look, I'd say they're about 2000 grit at a guess. The yellow ones are 1500 grit, and these are probably about 2000. Yeah. So next up, I'm using the Juice Super C. Look, polishing is one of those things. There is so many different polishers on the market. No one's to say which one's the best and which one's the worst. Everyone's got their own idea of which the best ones are. I like the 3M stuff. Most of the 3M stuff's pretty good, and that's through most of their range. Their sandpapers and their polishers and all that kind of stuff's always been pretty good, but just whatever works for you. The Juice ones here in Australia are another quite good one. I find they cut them up nice and quickly. You can see there that this is really not taking very long to polish up. And if you were looking very well and taking good notice at the very start, you would have seen there's a little bit of a line through that fender where I did my fade out, but once it's been polished up, you'll never be able to see it. I think that doing jobs like this is a great skill to have. Look, I did ask my boss. I said, "Oh, come on, mate, do you reckon I could just paint the whole fender?" And he's like, no, you got to do a spot repair. And I'm like, okay, no worries, I'll do it your way. You're my boss, I'll do whatever you want to say. And I do actually think it's a great skill to have to be able to do these kind of spot repairs. I mean, anyone can prep the whole panel up and sand it all down and clear the entire panel, but doing spot repairs and stuff like this, it's not something that everyone can actually do and succeed at. Some people try it and then fail, and then they're ending up taking it bigger, making the repair bigger and bigger. So yeah, I'm just being extremely careful on this blend area. So those who've seen the original video to this where I did the paintwork, they'll remember that this area here I actually faded my clear coat out. So I did this job even though it's a solid in clear over base. Reason I did it in clear over base is because if you're to do this in 2K, there is a very high chance that you'll actually see the edge of where your colour has blended out, but because it's clear coat, it's less chance of being able to see the blend here. Also extremely careful not to get that blend area too hot. It turned out that this job sat over the weekend, so it had cured up really nicely for me, and I didn't have to get too worried about it. But if you'd done this, say, the same day or just the day before, you may want to just feather that trigger on and off when you're cutting that blend. I do highly recommend checking out the first video too if you guys haven't already seen it, and I will put another link to that at the end. If you hang around to the end too, I've got a bit of a look at the car driving through the workshop, and you guys will be able to listen to the engine. It's got a really nice note to it. It's yeah, got a real good engine in there and nice exhaust system on it. So what I'm using here, you saw the Worth hologram remover, and I'm using the Rupes Bigfoot here. It's a electric polishing buff there, so it's a random orbital polishing buff. So it actually, because it goes on the orbit, it doesn't just go rotational, it doesn't just go around in circles like the buff you saw me use there before. It'll actually remove any of those swirl marks that the buff has left behind, and more so the blacks and the darker colours that you should be using that on, but it's just easy just to use it on every job I've found. Yeah, you'll find that the swirl marks are more likely to show up on the blacks. They're probably still there in these lighter colours, but you just can't see them because the lighter colours don't reflect the light as much. So once that's all done, I use that microfiber cloth you saw me just there in my hand, just wiping it down and unmasking it, just taking all these pieces of masking off, and we'll then just give it a bit of a clean down. I was hoping to get a bit of a better ending to this video. Yeah, I usually like to have a bit of a walk around the car once it's totally finished off, but it turned out that I did this in the morning. I still got a bit of a look at the car for you guys, but by the time it was finished and washed up, I missed it because I was in the spray booth painting another car and I came out and it had just gone. So apologies about that. Not to worry. We still got some pretty good footage on the car. So yeah, just there was a little spot there where it had just started to bridge up. That clear coat had just started to bridge up because we left that moulding on. There is a bit of method behind my boss's madness when he decided not to pull all these mouldings off, because they are prone to break and stuff like that. Yeah, so you just got to be extremely careful using that very nice sharp razor blade, cutting the area where the 2-pack had bridged up, and we were left with no edge there at all. So I was pretty happy with how this job came up. Next up, we're just going to be giving it a bit of a blowdown with high pressure air, make those detailers' job a little bit easier. They never like it when I come out here with my buff and just spray cutters and cutting compound all over the place. They always seem to have a yell at me. But anyway, so this is yeah, just about done here. Next up, we're just going to do a bit of a touch up and have a look at the car. So you can see there's no more line there. You cannot see any fade out there at all. It looks really nice. Pretty happy with that. You'd have to be happy with that. And no dust left in it either. So yeah, so there was just on the wheel arch here, there was just a little bit of an area where someone had done their old little touch up, and it was just totally wrong colour, really orange, so we just decided to go back over the top of that. We then went around the entire car, touch up any stone chips and stuff like that. That's just part of the service that my boss likes to do. Final presentation on the cars that we do here is actually quite top quality, and the work we do is quite good. So just going over the base coat first. As I mentioned earlier, it's clear over base, so by the time I finished doing the touch up here, I just went next door, grabbed some 2K clear, just put a touch of hardener with it and a bit of activator to speed it up, and then went over the top of that with some clear coat to give it some gloss. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you have a YouTube account to keep up to date with all my latest. I've got 2 uploads every week, one on Thursday and one on Sunday. Be sure to check me out on Facebook too. There is a link in the description of each one of my videos, so check me out on Facebook. I always put up loads of photos, and each one of these videos also gets linked over to there, just in case you missed out. So this is just a bit of a before and after. Look at it before and after. That's how it was before we started it, and this is when it's just about finished off here. As I said before, we'll give a quick drive-by. I included the same footage in the previous video too. So this is, I was hoping to give you a bit of a look at it outside, but as you see behind me in that blue car, someone just decided to drive up and I needed to get out of the way. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.